Hey everyone, my name is Mr. Vosters, and in this video I'm going to be showing you guys how to create this funky shape over here. Let me just take a screenshot of it. This is what we'll be making today. It's going to be a plate with some different extrusions and cutouts, and it's going to require a lot of the skills we've been learning so far as well as a few new ones. So we're going to go into our IED folder, 1.3, we're going to create a new document. We'll call it 1.3.4, and we'll just say CAD Skillz. So we're going to begin by making a sketch on the front plane. Let's go ahead and hide the rest and orient our view cube to the front plane. And we're going to start by making a corner rectangle. And let's start the corner rectangle from the origin. And we'll dimension this to be 4 by 6. 4 by 6. Okay, and then from there, we're going to do some construction lines. So you're going to click on the construction option over here and then the line tool. Let's make a diagonal, another diagonal, and then we'll make one from the midpoint up here down to the midpoint below. Hit the escape key or click off of those tools. And then we're going to create some polygons. So the first polygon we're going to make is the circumscribed pentagon. So we got to go down to circumscribed polygon. And from here, I'm just going to place it kind of over here somewhere. The size is not super important right now. We'll adjust that later. And as you after you've clicked the first time, you can drag to select the number of sides. And we want a pentagon, which is 5 sides. So kind of slide that until you get to 5 and then click. So I said we're going to resize it. This is going to have a radius of 0.35 inches. So we need to go from the center over to one of the sides, and that will be 0.35. It's pretty close there. Next up, we're going to make an inscribed hexagon. So under the polygon tool, drop down, select inscribed polygon. This one we're going to put on this diagonal line over here. We don't want it to be like constrained here. So if you see like a yellow dotted line show up, don't click, move it to a different location that's on the diagonal and click there. So this one's going to be a hexagon like we said. It's going to be a little smaller, so maybe size it a little smaller and then slide until you get to 6 here and then click. So we're going to dimension, like I said, this one's going to be 0.25. So go all the way to the corner. And then make sure you're like kind of aligned there. And it's going to be 0.25. Good. And then next we're going to do an equilateral triangle. So we can use our circumscribed polygon. And we can do it on this diagonal down here. And we're going to make 3 sides. So a triangle will have 3 sides. And these are going to be 1.25 inches each. 1.25. All right, then we're going to go ahead and constrain these a little bit. So the center of the polygon is going to be on this vertical line through the center of our rectangle. So let's do a coincident constraint. Click the center of your pentagon and then click this vertical line. We are going to make sure that one of the sides of our pentagons is horizontal. So we can click the bottom one maybe. That's fine. It's outside of the rectangle right now, but that's fine. We'll dimension it a little bit. We're going to make sure that the center point of our pentagon is 0.5 inches above the center of our rectangle. So in order to constrain anything to the center of our rectangle, we have to create a point there. And now we can dimension from our center of our pentagon to the center of the rectangle. And this should be 0.5. Okay, good. Next up, we want to constrain our hexagon up here. We want to make sure that one of our sides is parallel with the side of the rectangle, with the 6-inch side. So click the parallel constraint and then click one of the sides and then the 6-inch side of a rectangle. Then we want to make sure our center of our hexagon is 0.5 inches below the top of our rectangle. So 0.5 there. After you've done all these constraints that I just did, you should see the pentagon and the hexagon turn black. Okay, and then for the triangle, we're going to make sure the corner is coincident with the corner of our rectangle. So just pick one of the corners of your triangle, and then click the corner of the rectangle. And we want to make sure that this turns black as well after we've done that. If it didn't, then you likely need to make a coincident constraint with the center of your triangle and the diagonal line here. All right, next up we're going to do a few patterns. So you'll use the pattern tool. First one we're going to do is a circular pattern. We want to select, before you select the circular pattern tool, you want to select, there goes the lights. We want to select the sides of our pentagon, and we don't want to select anything that's not part of our pentagon. So unclick all those things, and then click on the circular pattern tool. We want to move the center of our pattern to the center of our circle there, and then we want to create 5 different, messed something up. All right, this is what I messed up. So instead of dimensioning to the center of our pentagon, we were supposed to dimension to the bottom. So that's why we're getting something goofy here. So let's redo that. That's much better. Now let's click off the dimension tool, click our pentagon again, and we can get the circle as well. Click the circular pattern, move the center here to the center of our rectangle, and then we want to update this 3x to be 5. We want to have 5 pentagons in our pattern. Should be able to left click somewhere else away from the pattern, and it should turn all of these black. Next up, we're going to create a linear pattern off of our hexagon. So highlight the hexagon and then unclick the diagonal. Here you can see we have a pattern of 3 going to the right. We want it going to the left like that. We want our spacing to be 0.75. And then we also want our pattern to be going below. So right now it says 1x. We want to change that to 2. So we get this nice second row. We want our spacing there to also be 0.75. And everything there looks good. We want to click with our left mouse button, and then we're going to delete this one over here. We don't want this hexagon. So let's go ahead and delete that. And we can move on. I don't know what that point is there. Let's just delete it. Okay, so we've got our pattern of pentagons, pattern of hexagons. Now we just want to create a pattern of our triangles. So let's do a linear pattern with our triangle. Let's get all 3 sides. And then we want this one to be kind of rotated so that it's creating like a nested little triangle thing there. And we want the spacing on this to be 0.2. So they're going to be overlapping quite a bit, and then we want to have 7 of them. So 7, just like that. It should be almost touching one of the pentagons. Left click somewhere else to solidify those, and then we want to do a coincident constraint with one of the vertices of our triangles to this diagonal, and then they should all turn black. Okay, that's it for our sketch. We can click the green check as long as everything is all black. Yours should be good. And then we're going to do an extrude. We're going to extrude this 1/2 inch. And notice mine turned red. It's got something it's not happy about, and I think it's this triangle down here. So we're going to try to create this pattern where only some of these triangles are extruded or only some slices of them. So click there. Then we're going to click in a few different spots. We're going to kind of create this like weird arrow pattern. So you'll have to click in a few places to achieve that. So just kind of follow my clicks, and we'll fill in this entire triangle over here. And it should look something like this. So you have three little, almost looks like a less or a greater than symbol or something. And we can click the green check. And if you turn it back to isometric, it should look something like this. Okay, so from here we are going to create a sketch on our front face of extrude 1. We'll go to the front of our view cube, and then we're going to offset these pentagons. So we're just going to offset 3 of them. Our offset distance is going to be 0.1. So we'll go ahead and do that for each pentagon. To finish, you just kind of click in a different area away from it and then type in 0.1. So we'll do that for these 3 specifically. And then you'll notice here we have this like overlapping little section. We want to get rid of that, and we're actually going to fillet each of these 3 shapes. So instead of finishing, extruding, and then doing our fillet, we're going to use the sketch fillet tool. So when you're inside of a sketch, you can create a fillet between all your different lines. So we'll just click there, and then if we click, oh, looks like we did not quite get there. So let's just try clicking the points instead. And when we do that, we should see that fillet come into place. So click all the corners of your pentagons. Let's keep going. All right, click to finish. And then if you zoom in, you should see that these actually are separated, which is going to allow us to extrude these without any issues. Click the green check. Then we're going to extrude. We're going to extrude the section that's between the edge of the pentagon and the edge of our filleted pentagon. We'll do a depth of let's do a depth of 0.5. Click the green check, and then we'll go to our isometric to check our work. And that looks pretty good to me. So that's going to be our finished drawing. What you need to submit for this assignment is going to be a screenshot of this. Make sure that your name is included in that screenshot. So name is going to be up in the top right here. So that's what I need to see included. And make sure you attach that to the assignment. That's it. Thanks for watching.